The first alert came at 11:47 on a Saturday morning while I was driving. 6 of us were in 2 cars on I-70, heading west out of Columbus, toward a cabin rental in Hocking Hills. I was driving the lead car, my Subaru. Dana, my wife, in the passenger seat. Marco, asleep in the back, behind us, in a silver Honda. Rob and Tess, married 3 years, and Britt, who had organized the whole trip. We were 20 minutes past the last exit, middle lane, doing about 72. Dana was scrolling on her phone. Marco was asleep, and everything felt normal. Then every phone in the car went off. Not a text, not a notification. An emergency alert, the kind that overrides your volume and screams at you, the kind you only get for things like amber alerts, tornado warnings, flash floods, the kind that means something is about to happen. I glanced at my phone on the dash and read, emergency alert, move to right lane immediately, reduce speed to 55, do not brake hard. That was it. No source, no agency, no explanation. Dana looked at me. Marco jerked awake. What the hell is that? I didn't answer. I was already checking my mirrors. Nothing unusual. No construction, no sirens, no hazard. Just open road. A FedEx truck, 8 car lengths ahead in the right lane. Holding steady. That's when something in me shifted. Not belief, not fear, just instinct. I turned on my signal. Merged right. Let the speed drop. 72, 65, 60, 58. In the rear view, I saw Rob's car follow us. Good. Then, 4 seconds later, a gray Dodge Charger came over the hill behind us, doing at least 90, maybe more. It tore past us in the left lane, swerved, clipped a minivan I hadn't even noticed, hit the median, overcorrected, and rolled. Once, twice, 3 times. Right through the space we had been in 8 seconds earlier. Dana screamed. Marco grabbed the back of my seat. I pulled onto the shoulder. Rob pulled in behind us. We got out. The Charger was upside down, 100 yards back. The minivan sat sideways across 2 lanes. Traffic was stopping. Someone was honking. I could smell rubber and something chemical in the air. We stood there, on the shoulder, for a long time. No one speaking. No one moving, just staring at the place. We should have been. Rob was the first to say it. Did anyone else's phone just tell us to move? Everyone had gotten it. All 6 phones. Same message, same time. We should have been in that lane. At 72 miles per hour, exactly where that car rolled. And we weren't, because something told us to move. We made it to the cabin by 3 p.m., but nobody was in a vacation mood. The place was exactly what you'd expect. 2-story A-frame, end of a gravel road, trees on all sides, a small gorge just beyond the deck. It should have felt peaceful. It didn't. We sat around the kitchen table instead, phones in the middle, like evidence. Okay, Tess said. Let's just be rational about this. That's her default setting. She picked up her phone, opened the alert again. Emergency alerts come from government systems, FEMA, National Weather Service, local law enforcement. She scrolled. This doesn't match any of them. No header, no issuing authority, no timestamp. So it's fake, Rob said. Fake alerts exist, Tess replied. Spoof towers, hacked broadcasts, rare, but documented. Marco leaned forward. Okay, but a fake alert that tells us to change lanes, 4 seconds before a car rolls through that exact spot? No one answered. Britt had been quiet the entire time. She finally spoke. I don't think the question is how it knew. She looked at all of us. I think the question is if it's going to happen again. It did, 90 minutes later. Rob and I drove into town for groceries, small Kroger in Logan. We were in the parking lot, loading bags into the trunk. Normal again, almost. Then, every phone went off. Same sound, same kind of alert. I didn't even feel surprised this time, just tense. I looked at the screen. Emergency alert, do not enter store. Remain in vehicle. Leave parking lot eastbound on Main Street within 90 seconds. Rob looked at me. We're already out of the store. Then it's not about the store, I said. It's about here. This is insane. I'm not... Rob. I opened the passenger door. Get in the car. I don't know why I said it like that. I don't know why I was so sure, but I was. We got in. He started the engine, pulled out eastbound, 3 blocks. That's how far we made it, before we heard it. Not an explosion, not a crash. Something deeper. A sharp, cracking sound, like a wall giving way. We pulled over, turned, looked back. Part of the Kroger's front facade, the brick above the entrance, had collapsed. Right onto the sidewalk, right onto the row of parking spots we had been standing in. People were shouting. Someone ran toward the entrance. Sirens already starting in the distance. Rob didn't say anything. His hands were still on the wheel, shaking. We drove back to the cabin in silence. When we got inside, everyone looked up. I set the bags on the counter. It happened again, I said. I told them everything. The alert, the timing, the collapse. Dana closed her eyes. Marco turned toward the window. Tess started typing immediately. Britt just watched me. Then she said, "Were you going to go back into the store?" "No. We were loading the car." She nodded slowly. "And why did it tell you not to enter the store?" That landed harder than anything else. She was right. The first instruction didn't apply. Only the second and third did. "Maybe it's covering possibilities," Marco said. "Or maybe it's not writing these in real time," Tess added. "Maybe they already exist." Nobody liked that. Because that meant whatever this was, already knew. Not just what would happen, but what we would do. "I want to know who's sending these," Rob said. "I'm not going to keep getting pushed around by anonymous messages." "Herded towards safety," Dana said quietly. "So far," Rob replied. That was the first crack. Not an argument. Not yet. Just a shift. 2 ways of seeing the same thing. One saw protection, the other saw control. And both of them were right. The third alert came at 9:15 the next morning, and this one changed everything. All 6 of us were on the cabin deck, coffee in our hands, trying to pretend this was still a normal trip. Britt was talking about a trail she wanted to hike. Marco was teasing her about her boots, and for a few minutes, it almost felt normal again. Then, every phone buzzed. Same tone, same sound. No hesitation this time. We all checked immediately. I read it once, then again. Slower. Emergency alert at 9:22 a.m. A white Chevrolet Silverado will cross the center line on Route 664 at mile, marker 11. A southbound vehicle carrying a family of 4 will be in the oncoming lane. Place a large obstruction in the southbound lane of Route 664 between mile markers 10 and 11 before 9:20 a.m. This will cause the southbound vehicle to slow or stop and avoid the collision zone. No one spoke. I checked the time. 9:15. We had 5 minutes. This is different, Tess said. It's not telling us to avoid something, Marco added. It's telling us to do something. To block a road, Rob said. That's illegal. To save 4 people, Dana replied. According to what? Rob shot back. According to something that has been right twice, she said. And what if it's wrong this time? What if we caused the accident instead? No one had an answer for that. I stood up. Not because I had decided anything, but because the clock was moving. 5 minutes is not enough time to debate morality. I grabbed the first thing I saw, a section of split-rail fence by the fire pit, heavy, awkward, real. Marco helped me. Britt followed. Dana ran ahead toward the road. Rob stayed where he was. Tess didn't move. We dragged the fence out to Route 664, laid it across the southbound lane, one section, then another. It looked ridiculous, like something kids would build as a joke. At 9:19, a dark green Subaru Outback came down the road. A woman driving, 3 kids in the back. I could see their faces. She slowed, stopped, rolled her window down. What's going on? Is there an accident? There's a hazard ahead, I said. You should wait here for a minute. She frowned, looked past us. I don't see anything. At 9:22, a white Silverado came around the bend, northbound, drifted, crossed the center line, and slammed into the drainage ditch, exactly where her car would have been. The woman screamed. One of the kids started crying. Marco said something under his breath. I didn't feel anything. No relief, no shock, just clarity. We helped the driver, called 911, waited until everything settled, and when we walked back, nothing felt the same. Because now we knew. It wasn't just warning us anymore, it was using us. Over the next 2 days, the alerts kept coming. They came while we were driving, while we were hiking. One came while Britt was in a gas station bathroom in Laurelville. They were always specific, always precise, and always right. Some were simple. Do not take the footbridge at Cedar Falls, use the lower trail. We listened. 20 minutes later, a hiker ahead of us said the railing had given way. If we had been on it, with all 6 of us, someone would have gone over 60 feet straight down. Some alerts were stranger. Tell the man in the red jacket at the Wakena trailhead to call his wife. He will refuse. Tell him the word Abernathy. He will call. Marco did it. We all watched. The man looked at him like he was insane. Then, something changed. His face drained, completely, like someone had flipped a switch. He turned, walked away, phone already in his hand, pressed to his ear. We didn't follow. We didn't ask questions. We just stood there, trying to pretend that made sense. Marco didn't come back right away. At first we thought he was just giving the guy space. Then 30 seconds passed. Then a minute. I stood up, walked toward the trailhead. Marco was still there, in the same spot. The man in the red jacket was gone. Marco was holding his phone, like he'd forgotten what it was for. Hey, I said. No response. I got closer. Marco? He blinked. Slow, like it took effort. He knew my name, he said. What? The guy? Before I said anything else, Marco swallowed. He said my name. I felt something shift in my chest. You didn't tell him your name? No. Silence. Then, and he said, Marco looked at me, not scared, not confused, just wrong. He said, you got the message too. We didn't speak for a long time after that, and some alerts were worse than strange. They were Precise, controlled, uncomfortable, like someone had already decided how we were going to behave. On Monday afternoon, we stopped at a diner in Rockbridge. The alert came while we were eating. Emergency alert. The woman in the gray sweater sitting at the counter will leave in 4 minutes. She will turn left onto County Road 13. She will not see the stop sign at the intersection of CR 13 and SR 180. Do not warn her directly. Stand in the diner parking lot and block her driver's side mirror with your hand as she backs out. She will readjust her mirrors before pulling onto the road. This adjustment will cause her to notice the stop sign. No one spoke. We just sat there, reading it. Again. And again. Why can't we just tell her? Dana said. It says not to, Marco replied. So what? Since when does it decide how we help someone? Since every time we followed it exactly, people lived. And we don't know what happens if we don't, Britt added. Tess shook her head. You don't know that anything happens. You're assuming causation. Tess, I said quietly. A truck landed exactly where a family would have been. I know, she said. I was there. I'm saying we don't know what happens if we do it differently. Silence. Britt stood up. I'll do it. We watched from inside, through the glass. She stood near the car, casual, like she belonged there. The woman came out, got into a blue Sentra, started backing out. Britt stepped slightly into position, blocked the mirror. Just enough. The woman paused, adjusted it, frowned, pulled out, and left. We never followed, never checked, never confirmed anything. And somehow, that was worse, because this time, we weren't reacting. We were executing a precise action for a result we would never see, based on something we didn't understand. Britt came back inside, sat down slowly. I don't feel like a good person, she said. Her voice was quiet. I feel like a tool. No one argued, because at that point, we all did. That night, something shifted. Not outside, inside. We were back at the cabin, same table, same phones, but it didn't feel like evidence anymore. It felt like instructions. Tess had been working for 2 days straight, logging everything, every alert, every timestamp, every outcome, and now she finally showed us. There's a pattern, she said. She turned her laptop toward us. A spreadsheet, clean, precise, rows and rows of entries. It's not random, she continued. The scope is expanding. She pointed. The first alert affected only us. The second involved people around us. The third, a family. Then strangers. Then more strangers. Her finger moved down the list. Each alert involves more people. And each one requires more from us. She looked up. We are not being protected. A pause. We are being deployed. No one spoke, because the word fit too well. The first alert earned our trust, she said. The second confirmed it. The third made us act. And now, she closed the laptop halfway. Now it's using us. Rob leaned forward. I've been saying that since the beginning. Dana shook her head. People are alive because of what we did. Are they? Tess replied. That landed. Or are people alive because we did exactly what something told us to do? Without question. Marco exhaled slowly. That's not the same thing. It's exactly the same thing, Tess said. We didn't decide anything. We were given instructions. We followed them. And we were rewarded. With what? Britt asked. With being right, Tess said. With feeling justified. with the belief that we're the kind of people who save lives. Silence. That's how compliance works, she continued. Intermittent reinforcement. Escalating commitment. Moral entrapment. She looked at each of us. This is a textbook conditioning pattern, and we are sitting inside it. Rob nodded. Exactly. Marco leaned forward. So what do you want us to do? Tess didn't hesitate. We stop. The word hung there. We ignore the next alert. Dana shook her head immediately. No. If someone dies, she said, then that's on whatever is sending the alerts, Tess replied. Not us. That's easy to say, Marco said. It's not your hands doing it. And it shouldn't be yours either, Tess shot back. I felt something tightening in my chest, because both of them were right. Rob spoke again, quieter this time. You keep saying we're saving people, he said, but we're not. We all looked at him. You're not saving anyone. You're just doing what it tells you, and calling it morality. Dana frowned. That's not fair. If it told you to push someone into traffic, Rob continued, because it saves 5 others. He paused. You'd hesitate. Another pause. Maybe 10 seconds. Then he looked directly at me. And then you do it. No one spoke, because no one could answer that. I looked at the table, at the phones, at the silent screens, and for the first time, I saw the trap clearly. If the alerts were always right, then ignoring them meant choosing death. But following them meant giving something else control. There was no middle ground, no neutral position, just action or refusal, and both had consequences. We sat there for a long time. No one speaking, no one moving, 6 people, waiting for the next instruction, and wondering which version of ourselves would follow it. Tuesday morning, the last full day before we were supposed to go home. The alert came early, 7:03 a.m., before anyone was fully awake. I read it once, then again, slower. Emergency alert at 2:47 p.m. today. A structural failure will occur on the US 33 bridge over the Hocking River east of Nelsonville. An estimated 14 vehicles will be on the bridge at the time of failure. To prevent this, at 2:30 p.m., place a vehicle across the eastbound on-ramp at Canal Street and activate hazard lights. A second vehicle must block the westbound on-ramp at Poplar Street. These blockages must remain in place for no less than 4 minutes. This will clear the bridge of traffic before the failure occurs. 14 vehicles. Highway speed. A bridge. No. Tess said it immediately. Sharp, final. Absolutely not. 14 cars, Dana said. You don't know that, Tess replied. Well, you don't know any of this. It's never been wrong. That doesn't matter, Tess said. The pattern matters. Her voice didn't shake. That made it worse. The escalation matters. The cost keeps going up. The cost of not doing it, I said quietly. Is 14 cars on a bridge. Or nothing happens, she shot back, and we get arrested for blocking a highway. And our lives are ruined. I thought about that. I really did. And then I thought about the outback, 3 kids. I'm going, I said. Silence. I need someone for the second car. I'll do it, Marco said. I won't, Rob replied. And that was it. A line drawn, clear. I looked at Britt. She was hugging her knees. I don't know, she said. Not about going. I don't know if we're helping or if we're being aimed. I nodded. Both can be true. She looked at me. Long. Yeah, she said quietly. That's the problem. Dana came with me. Marco took Rob's car. Britt came as a lookout. Rob and Tess stayed behind. We drove to Nelsonville. At 2:28 p.m., I positioned my Subaru across the eastbound on-ramp. Diagonal, hazard lights on. Dana stood behind the car, arms out, waving people back. Drivers honked. One man got out, started shouting. She didn't move. A quarter mile away, Marco blocked the westbound ramp. Britt stayed between us. On the phone, relaying. At 2:35, a police cruiser pulled up behind me. The officer stepped out, young, trying to stay calm. Sir, you need to move this vehicle immediately. There's a structural problem with the bridge. Sir, I have no information about any bridge closure. You are obstructing a public roadway. His tone changed. Move the vehicle, or I will place you under arrest. I checked my phone. 2:36, 4 minutes. I needed 4 minutes. One more minute, I said. Please. Sir, just look at the bridge. He turned, looked. There was nothing, just concrete, water below, traffic flowing, 2 cars already on it. I watched them, not praying, counting, 240, 242, more radios, more voices. Another cruiser arrived, Marco shouting through the phone, trying to explain something that couldn't be explained. 245? Sir, I am placing you under 247. The sound was wrong. Not loud, not explosive, just grinding, like something giving way. Slowly. Then, a section of the bridge dropped. No drama, no collapse sequence, just gone. Concrete, rebar, dust, falling into the river, 40 feet down. The officer stopped speaking. His hand stayed on the radio, frozen. The 2 cars, they had already cleared. The bridge, empty. No one heard. Because we were standing there, breaking the law, for 4 minutes. And it worked. The officer looked at me. I looked at him. Neither of us said anything, because there was nothing left to explain. They didn't arrest us. I still don't fully understand why. I think it was the officer. The moment he saw the bridge fall, something changed. They took our statements, our names, asked us how we knew. We said, anonymous tip. They asked to see our phones. The alerts were gone. Every single one, every message, every notification, like they had never existed. Tess still had her spreadsheet, but the screenshots, blank. No source, no trace, just us and a collapsed bridge. That proved we were right, without explaining how. We drove back to the cabin in silence. When we arrived, Tess was sitting outside, alone. Rob left, she said. I stopped. What? He drove to Columbus. Rented a car. He's done. The words sat there. He asked me to go with him. But you didn't, I said. She shook her head. I watched the news, she said. I saw the bridge. She paused. He's not wrong. That mattered more than anything else. About any of it, she continued. The pattern is real. The escalation is real. The fact that we don't control anything, that's real too. She looked at me. But 14 people are alive. I don't know how to argue with that. Neither did I. Marco and Britt sat quietly inside. No jokes, no energy. Something had changed in all of us. Not fear, not relief, something else. Something heavier. We left the next morning. 3 cars, 2 groups. No one said much. The trip back should have felt like the end. Instead, it felt like we were waiting for something. About 20 minutes before the last alert, we stopped at a rest area. No reason, just Needed a break. I walked toward the vending machines, bought a bottle of water. When I turned back, Dana was standing near the entrance, staring. "What?" I asked. She didn't answer. I followed her gaze, a digital sign above the exit. Traffic updates. It flickered. Once. Then the text changed. Not all of it, just one line. Expect delays ahead and underneath it. For less than a second, you will be asked to act. Then it was gone. Back to normal. Traffic updates. "You saw that?" Dana said. I nodded. No one else reacted. No one even looked up. We stood there for a few seconds, neither of us speaking, because we both understood at the same time this wasn't just happening on our phones anymore, and whatever it wasn't finished. At 1:15 p.m., we were back on I-70, eastbound, 15 miles from Columbus. Traffic was heavy, but moving, normal, completely normal. Then, every phone went off. I felt it before I heard it. That vibration. Something in my stomach. Folded. Dana opened hers first, read it, then looked at me. And I had never seen that expression on her face before. "Pull over," she said. What does it say?" "Pull over. Right now." I didn't argue. I moved onto the shoulder. Marco pulled in behind us. I grabbed my phone, hands shaking, and read. "Emergency alert at 1:22 p.m. A tanker truck carrying ammonium nitrate will jackknife on the I-70/I-270 interchange eastbound. If it ruptures, the detonation zone will extend approximately 1,200 feet in all directions. Estimated vehicles in zone, 40 to 60. Estimated fatalities, 80 to 120. I kept reading. To prevent rupture. After the jackknife occurs, one vehicle must position itself directly in front of the tanker's cab to prevent forward slide on the graded surface. The vehicle will be destroyed. Passengers must exit before impact. Window of action. Approximately 15 seconds after the jackknife begins. A pause. Then, note. The tanker will jackknife regardless. Only the rupture can be prevented. No one spoke. Marco looked at me. "It wants us to put a car in front of it." "Yes." "And we have 15 seconds to get out." "Yes." Britt shook her head. "No. I'm not doing this. I'm not watching this." Dana said nothing. 80 to 120 people, she said finally. "I don't care what the number is," Britt said. "I'm not letting Marco do that." No one was asking Marco. "It's my car," I said. Silence. "And Dana's getting out?" She turned to me immediately. "The hell I am." "You are," I said, "because one of us needs to walk away from this." "You are not doing this alone." "Yes." I looked at her. "That's the decision." My hands were shaking. I couldn't stop them. Not fear. Not exactly. Something else. Something that had been building for days. Tess stepped out of the car, walked toward me. "You understand what this is," she said. I nodded. "It built you for this." Every word, slow, precise. Every alert. Every success. Every life you saved. It was conditioning you to become the person who would do this. I didn't argue, because she was right. "And you're going to do it anyway," she said. "Yes." "Why?" I looked past her, at the highway, at the cars, at the people inside them. "I can count them," I said. She nodded. No argument, no resistance. She turned, walked to the Honda. Dinah held my face in her hands, crying. I wasn't, I think. I was past that. She said something to me, quiet, just for me. Then she stepped away. I got back in the car and drove, alone. 119, 120, 121. Then, I saw it. A tanker truck, left lane, 200 yards ahead, drifting. The trailer swung, the cab turned, and everything slowed down and sped up at the same time. I floored it, cut across lanes, horns, movement, chaos building. The truck was already sliding down the grade toward the guardrail. I positioned the car 10 feet in front of the cab, put it in park, opened the door, jumped. The ground hit me hard, tore skin from my arm, knocked the air out of my chest. I rolled, and from the pavement I watched my car crumple, the cab slam into it, metal folding, glass shattering. The truck pushed forward, then stopped. Everything shook, then settled. No rupture, no explosion, just silence, then sirens, shouting, 40 cars braking at once, and I lay there on the asphalt, staring at the sky, breathing, alive. Later, they called it a miracle. A driver somehow positioned his car just right, stopped a disaster. They asked how I knew. I said instinct. They accepted that. Because people prefer miracles to explanations. Dana came to the hospital, held my hand for a long time. But then she said, "The alert stopped? For everyone?" She nodded. "Nothing since." Marco and Britt visited. Marco hugged me carefully. "You're either the bravest person I know," he said, "or the most obedient." I didn't answer. Tess came last, alone. She opened her laptop, showed me the graph again, the curve, still rising. "If this continued," she said, "the next one would be bigger. Thousands." I looked at the ceiling. "They stopped," I said. "They stopped sending them to us." She replied, "That's not the same thing." Silence. "I think we were a unit," she said. "One location. One window. And there are others." "You don't know that." "No," she said, "but I can count." She closed the laptop. "Something is managing outcomes. Not predicting them. Managing them. And it's using people like us." I didn't ask if that was good or bad, because I already knew the answer. It was both. I don't think it needed to send another alert. It didn't have to. It had already done the work. 3 months later, I still check my phone. Every vibration, every notification, Dana sees it, says nothing, because we both understand the worst part isn't that it might come back. The worst part is that I already know what I'll do when it does.